Hey guys, and welcome to All the Mods 9 Progression Log 22. Whew, really getting up there. I do have actually quite a bit to talk about today, as I have been playing a lot more Minecraft this week than I was Helldivers. I kind of got burned out on Helldivers pretty bad. Anyway, so there's been, I'll go ahead and show playtime, I guess. We'll just start off with that while I remember. Time played 23.12 days. Let me go ahead and tell you how many hours that is. That is 554 hours. Whew. Okay, so we've got a lot of playtime. I've been playing a lot this week. Alright, we'll go ahead and start off with, I think, probably... Yeah, we'll go ahead and start off with fusion. I've been building a lot of fusion reactors. I built a couple more. And I've done some deco work over here. I got kind of annoyed with how it all looked, so I did a little bit of deco work. I also pulled out the old Mark I fusion reactor. This one right here is doing europium. Originally, this one was actually going to do neutronium, right? Because I was like, oh, neutronium, we can do that, right? We have americium and nequadria. Yeah, we can do that. We have the ZPM. However, energy to start is 600 million, and the Mark II buffer is only up to 340 million, or 320 million. So the only way to actually start the neutronium fusion reactor is to use the Mark III fusion reactor, which is actually, I guess, okay. Because I was kind of looking at it yesterday or so when I was building the fusion reactors, I was kind of looking at the Mark III, and I'm like, well, what the hell is the point of the Mark III? You know? It doesn't do anything, it doesn't seem to do anything too much faster where it would actually matter. But, it matters for neutronium. So, I'll have to build a fusion reactor Mark III, which that means this bulk blast chiller is much, much farther away than I thought it was originally. I thought we'd be able to get this pretty quickly. Like once we had neutronium, which we have americium and nequadria, we could do. However, that's obviously not the case anymore. I have to get the Mark III fusion reactor, so that means it's like the rotary hearth furnace and the bulk blast chillers are some of the last multi-blocks you'll really get access to. So that's going to be annoying, which means that I need to really think about how I, like not over here, hold on. Over here, like how I want to deal with these vacuum freezers if I want to rebuild them now, and possibly add a few more, depending on if I need to do. Basically, I can't wait to just string this along until I can get bulk blast chillers anymore. I'll have to actually seriously just build more of these just these normal vacuum freezers instead, because I can't rely on getting the bulk blast chiller anytime soon. That'll be at least a week or two away, I imagine. We're not like that far away, fortunately, from some of the UHV. We're actually getting pretty close in terms of the wetware circuits, and I guess I'll go ahead and talk about that next over here. So I don't know if you guys remember, but at a certain point I was wondering about the kind of things that I have to put on passive in the assembly lines. And originally I thought it was only the UHV circuits. However, in order to craft these wetware printed boards, you need the wetware circuit boards, and these require the IV sensors, the LUV electric pumps. So both of those things have to, all three of it, well, technically it's three things, because you also have to put the electric motors. So I have the electric motors on passive, as well as the LUV electric pumps on passive now. So we do have a few more things that go on passive for the assembly lines. That might be it. I'm still not exactly sure. IV assembler is just done on a regular assembler, so that's just over in the main factory floor. So there's nothing particularly interesting over there besides that. So I did have to put some stuff on passive on the assembly line that I didn't expect to have to put on passive on the assembly line. So, yeah. I also do want to mention something about these databanks is, so you know how they're chained together, right? Well, I wanted to kind of spread out some of the data orbs, right? So I had actually put some data orbs in this one. And I'm like, oh, they're all chained together, so it'll work. However, I wanted to make some ZPM electric motors in this one, and it wouldn't work until I'd moved the data orb, the electric motor, from this one into the middle one. So they don't chain through each other. They only go from one to the quote-unquote adjacent one. So my original plan of having one data bank with everything in it and then just chaining all of them around is no longer going to work. I'm going to have to actually duplicate all of the other data orbs that are in data orbs and data sticks and whatever are actually in these ones. And then put them in that center one over there. So that one over there, so that's this row over here will also be able to build anything that this one can. So that was something I didn't expect, and is only minorly annoying. Um, it's not like too much of a problem. It just adds a little bit more of overhead on getting some other stuff to work. But I guess that's kind of okay in a way. It means I don't have to try and chain that one, because I was going to put some assembly lines here as well and more right here, and it would have been weird, like kind of spaghetti underneath. I mean, it would have been underneath, so I wouldn't have cared too much. But at least I don't have to spaghetti it to be, chain them all together or whatever. It'll just be these three or whatever. That'll be chained together, and then probably these two. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, ATM ore mining. I mentioned that I said I was going to talk about this later last video, and then I just didn't get around to it. I do this so many times. I'm very sorry. It will happen again. Um, I've actually started. I did a little bit of mining for like the first time in like a few hundred hours. Is I was mining ATM ore because we needed it for some stuff here. We actually have these things on craft. I'm crafting all 280 of these alloy blocks that we'll need. You need 28 per star, and we're making 10 stars, so I just started the craft early. We're not making anything else over here in terms of the power, energizing orb. So it's, not fast. It's pretty slow, but I don't expect us to need this stuff anytime soon anyway. So I decided to just go ahead and get the craft started early. Uh, since we're not really using this for anything else. We haven't built any nitro anything, any like power anything in hundreds of hours, especially since we stopped using those reactors. I could probably put a few more energizing rods. Maybe they'll link up. Uh, let's see. Here we can go ahead and put the spirited on there, and we'll go ahead and put these on there. Why not? Are those gonna? Yep. Cool. It'll be a little bit faster now, but in the end, it's kind of like whatever, I guess. I don't really care if it takes like 20 or 30 hours to do all this stuff, since like I said, we're not waiting on this, so that won't be a problem. We have titanium coils now as well. Over here, over here. I finally built some titanium coils. I needed them for what was it again? Enriched Naquitatronium Europium Duranide ingot. I did add another fusion reactor for duranium, so now we have plenty of duranium ingots. We're getting that. It's still kind of slow, but again, we don't really use too much of it, so it's fine. You need that stuff for the network switch. We need the network switch because if you come over here to the research, I know I'm just jumping all over the place, guys, but that's the base. So in order to use, as you see, we have two HPCAs here, the high performance computational arrays. However, you can't use two at the same time unless you have a network switch. You can only plug one in. Like optical cables are only point to point. You can't have junctions in them. So which is why I actually have a bunch of chained databanks over here, so I can, I can't have one cable come up all the way down and then come up and then split between these two with one databank for all of them. You can only split. That's why I'm basically using these databanks as splitters. But you can't combine these things unless you actually have the network switch. And some of the things we're going to need to be researching require more than 32 computational units per tick, as you can only have, it seems, up to 2 of these advanced computational components in one block. So this means this one is stuck at 32 at most. That's not a problem at the moment, but eventually we will have to, there are going to be some things like here, research station, that require more than 32 a tick. Like this one's fine. But look, you can see the UV energy hatch, which we're actually not too far from at this point. We have UV assemblers. That's how we made the titanium coils. We have UV converters, so we have UV power. But we don't have UV energy hatches yet. This will be something that once we actually craft it, we're not like too far from it. We have UV circuits. We have most of this stuff already. We'll need these things, and this won't be a problem either. So we just need to do the research, which means I have to set up the network switch here and upgrade the other HPCA, so that it's a total of 64, and then throw the research in. And that should be about it, actually. We should be able to get UV energy hatches. Darmacium wasn't too bad at all. It looks like the UV tier actually was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Uh, the UV circuits aren't that bad. The wetware processors are going to be kind of annoying though. You can see this one. Let's see, that's 64. Anything? I think there was, yeah. Here's 96. So if we want to make the UHV circuits, this is going to require three of these ones here, or actually four? No, three. No wait, it's 32, not 64. So it would be uh, no, it would be three. Um, I just woke up, guys. Forgive me. Look, this one's also 64 for that one. Mega Fusion Reactor, which we will need, is 128, so that one will be 4. Um, UHV Energy Hatch will be 128 as well. So you can see this. Oh wow, Micro Universe. Okay, well we're not doing this, so that doesn't matter. 48 for the UV sensor. So as you can see, there's plenty of things that we're gonna have to research that'll be over the 32 limit of a single HPCA. So we are going to need the network switch, and I've decided that I hate this way this thing is laid out, so I'm actually going to rebuild it so it looks a little bit nicer. I'm kind of annoyed about how I just really dislike the way it's been laid out. So I'm going to tear this all down. I'm probably going to center this. I've tried to avoid building over like the lamp in the center, but at this point I don't really care. I can just if there is mob spawning, I can just throw down a mega torch, or more than likely I'll just build glowstone lanterns into whatever I'm doing here if it's really that dark. And so I really don't think it's not going to be a problem. And I want it to look good. I've been kind of sick of like the terrible base, the way it's been looking. I do love this base. I wanna make sure you guys know that I'm not hating my time here. I do, but I've decided that I do want to put a little bit more effort into some aesthetics here. I've had enough of pure utilitarianism. Yeah. Oh, this one's still plenty. When I had built the original first fusion reactor, I had used LUV input hatches because I thought that was required. It's not, but when I moved it, it meant I had a 512 bucket buffer of neodymium in there that I just didn't want to get rid of. I avoided the hydrogen because who cares, it's hydrogen. So I just pulled this here, and I'm just feeding this off tanks for now. And eventually, I will feed this with an interface, but that'll be a problem for later. When this is going to take a really long time to empty it out, so it's fine. Europium isn't really used in anything in terms of fusion. It's used in like the Grugstar and some other things, but nothing particularly important at the moment. So if it does run out, it's fine. It may have to start up again, but again, we have unlimited power at this point, so who cares? Oh, I did get the entangled blocks to work, and for you guys who wanted to know, it turns out I was doing it backwards. You have to entangle the valve there, and then put it on the fusion reactor, because the entangled blocks don't inherit the quality, not the qualities, but the behavior of the entangled block. And so if you entangle the output, it loses its automatic push behavior, so it wasn't pushing to the turbines. So if we just entangle the turbine valves and then put them on there, it'll push through here, the entangled block, into the turbine. And now we're up to about 33 or 34 mega RF a tick. I pushed this thing up to like a burn rate of 80, and this is fine. And it turns out the buffer in there there's always going to be a little bit of buffer in these really high throughput machines. So if you have a tiny amount, it's fine. I don't know why it's only the buffer of this flow rate rather than the whole flow rate. I couldn't tell you. It just is that way. So don't be concerned if it starts to fill up a little bit in the buffer. It'll be fine. I would keep an eye on it if you're really that concerned. But that's not really too much of a problem. The real problem here is, though, I can only obviously put 2 more turbines on this fusion reactor, because I'd only have 2 more of these fusion reactor ports, because I still do want to. That's still a decent amount of passive power generation. If we look here, 4 mega RF. I'm not going to leave that on the table. So eventually, I'm either going to have to shut this thing down and rebuild the fusion reactor, so it has more ports, or just build a second one. I'll probably just rebuild this one, I mean, because at the end of the day, the annoying part of, rebuilding it would be turning it back on, having to reignite it. And if I built a second one, I'd have to, reignite that one. I have to ignite that one anyway. So, I mean, I'd still be igniting a fusion reactor. So why build another one anyway, right? If this one's already hooked up. So that'll be something I have to do in the future. I don't expect to have to do that anytime soon, really. Like I said, we still have plenty of headroom on this one. We still have another 20 mega RF on this industrial turbine in terms of headroom. So I'm not really that concerned either. Also, we have a massive buffer in terms of 75 trillion RF, so it's not really a problem. We'll be fine. Let me go ahead and turn this on. We should have plenty of antimatter at this point. I made a bunch of those. We have 52 pellets and another 18 pellets worth of antimatter. But I leave it on anyway, just in case. I haven't gotten around to counting it, but it doesn't really matter if it's running or not. And eventually, if I do have to build another turbine and it does become a problem, I can always pull off one of these P2Ps actually, and then just put an entangled block on there, and dump some extra stuff in there. But I don't really expect that it's going to be a problem anytime soon. So if it does become a problem, I can do it then, which is kind of why I've just let it run. By the time it does, I do need to pull out the old mechanism fission reactor in order to place more turbines for the fusion reactor. I can't imagine that I'll need any more antimatter anyway, so we'll be fine on that portion. This thing does draw like 15 mega RF, which is way more than that thing produces, but again, who cares? I don't. It's fine. Let's see. Oh yes, so I looked at rebuilding, or I guess rebuilding isn't like the proper word. Modifying some of this electrolyzer here using some stocking buses, because part of the problem with these regular ones is sometimes you'll have the same item in multiple slots, so it'll block up from pulling some other material in. And I was like, well, the stocking buses would prevent that. And you're right, the stocking buses would prevent that. However, they're absolutely obnoxious to use. You can't filter in from JEI, and in order to modify the amounts, you have to fucking scroll. And this is as fast as it goes. I don't know if you guys can see how fast that number is changing over there, but that's as fast as it goes. So if you put in if you only have like one dust or something, you have to spend like 3 hours scrolling. It's really obnoxious. So I kind of did that and then went, you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's fine. It hasn't been a problem in like the hundreds of hours it's been running before. So I don't really care. So it made some of these things, some of the stuff more consistent. But it wasn't a problem enough before to get me to sit here for, another 15 minutes and use stocking buses on the rest of the stuff to solve a problem that isn't even there. So I'm just not gonna worry about it anymore. Let's see, anything over? Oh, I do want to actually mention, at one point I said I thought the tape prevented all maintenance issues for like the rest of time, and that's not true. It does eventually go away, but it takes a very, very, very long time. You have to process literally millions of items for maintenance to become an issue. So the only places where it's really an issue is in ore processing or NAC line, stuff like that, where you are processing just a truly amazing amount of resources. We are extremely wealthy, of course, as per usual. We have lots of stuff. Tungsten dust. I don't know, where is tungsten? Where is tungsten? Should be quite a lot. Let's find out. That's a vanadium. There it is. 889,000 tungsten dust. Those bees have been going hard, let me tell you. It's been great. Arsenic is a little bit of a small concern because we don't have too much of that stuff, and it does get used in fusion. So now there is a more consistent passive drain on arsenic, but and specifically in fusion, use it to make liquid darmstadium. I don't know, whatever. That stuff. You don't use it too fast, and I have actually 15 large advanced miners going now. Large advanced miners too, actually, the big ones, the best ones. I have 15 of those going right now. So we have a ton of ore coming in. So we'll be fine, I think. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem as long as I just keep the miners rolling. I know I talked about that I thought we wouldn't be running the miners anymore after the tungsten bees, but I was wrong. It turns out there are plenty of elements that we do need at least a little bit. That you can get with bees, but like there's arsenic bees and naquita bees and stuff like that. But I don't want to do that. It's easier it's a little bit more time consuming and a little less consistent for some of the elements that we need. But we still do have like here. I have a lot of these miners going. I can take a look. You can see this field. I have this many, and I've just been crawling across the map. Eventually, I'm gonna have to reset the ATM mining dimension at some point. I'm sure this is significantly like we have because this is a dedicated server. We have theoretically a limited amount of storage space. Aclid is good enough where unless you have like terabytes for your world or whatever, as in like don't worry about storage space, we'll talk to you if it becomes a problem. And they haven't talked to me yet, so it's not a problem. But I'm also getting tired of having to just go out really far for that. I also over here have you guys will notice there's a bunch of other stuff over here. I'm actually using a bunch of digital miners here to clear out ground to find all Imodium ore. Not that we actually need any more at this point. We'll be good because we had enough to make the 280 blocks that we needed for the ATM star. But I've been using it to clear out ground to find. You can see it's just slowly mining it away. It's very slow. In order to clear out all the ground that's beneath it, it would take about 184 hours per digital miner to clear out everything underneath it. So I've just kind of like let it go. I set up a bunch, and that'll probably be since we don't really need it. I don't really care, and they're running pretty, they don't take too much power. It's like 15k each or something, 15 KRF per tick each at their fastest speed as if you're not doing Silk Touch. So it's kind of like a big whatever. Over here, I also may have Five Finger discounted someone's old quarry that they haven't used in literal months. They don't get on anymore, so I'm like, they don't care. And I set it up, and I'm just letting it, dig a giant hole. Because they had actually dug a giant hole with it a very long time ago over here. And this had a bunch of all the Imodium ore in it, and I cleared all of it out. And I'd like a little bit more. And also some other stuff too, like unobtainium and vibranium. I think we'll be good in terms of, I think we'll be fine for vibranium as well. Maybe not. Or we probably might need some more. Unobtainium, I think we're a little bit sketchy on. We might have enough because the ATM star does require, let's see, ATM star also requires a few of these blocks here, just 2. So we'll need 20 of those blocks, which is 180 ingots, something like that. So we should be fine actually. Anyway, yeah, we'll be okay. But I've decided in case, I did my math wrong somewhere, or if it turns out we need more for something else that I haven't taken into account, it might be a good idea to get this stuff running. I don't think we'll be playing for another 184 hours, I'm entirely honest, and this quarry is super fucking slow. I don't know how long that guy had it running to dig that giant hole, but it must have been a very long time. So it'll, finish eventually. Like I said, I decided to, get it started now in case it does become a problem at some point. I doubt it will, but, better safe than sorry. But like I said, I don't think we'll be playing I don't think I'll be on for another 184 hours. I think we'll be done much sooner than that. I'm not exactly sure how much sooner than that, but I can go ahead and show you the star progress, actually. Over here, in the star room again. Over here, you can see how many components we have. We're actually pretty close. We have most of like the big boy components here. We're missing the pulsating black hole and the philosopher's fuel from this, I believe. As well as all the nether stars. So yeah, we have 2 more components for this, and then it's just like the resource dump. Which, we actually are pretty close in terms of nether stars. I think Cosmic said we needed about 900,000 nether stars, and we have 281,000. It's, not too bad. We have a pretty good income. I think we'll have enough, and if I stay on, fairly often over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably be good enough on that margin as well. I might add a few more wither models anyway, just, because it's not too hard to add them. But yeah, so we're pretty close. Like the pulsating black hole might be. I'm not exactly sure how bad this is going to be. We haven't really started on this. I think we'll need 10 of these. I think we have dragon steel actually. Damn it, lag again. What is dragon steel anyway? Dragon steel dust. Okay, so we have some of this stuff. I'll have to get some dragon's breath, which means I'll need to go get a dragon data model, and then we'll be fine. I'm curious, how can you even make this stuff? I don't know what that is, so we'll do it this way, and then it won't be a problem. So we're not like too far away. We do have some components. We still need to, you know, I think we need virtually everything from. I wonder if we have the lightning charge. We have the lightning bombs. We'll need. Come here. Can we make 10 of these? Okay, so basically, I don't even know how we make that, but it won't be too much of a problem. So we're getting pretty close at this point. Once the you know the ATM alloy comes in, that'll be a big chunk done, and then once the Nether Stars gets done, that'll be another big chunk done. So yeah, it'll be. I think we'll probably be here another month, maybe 2. But yeah, I think my original estimate of around log 30, 32 or so was probably pretty accurate at this point. So we're into the final stretch now, which is, oh man, we've been here for so long, 554 hours, right? I can't believe we're this far along, you know. Every now and then I just wonder, I'm like, man, you know, I remember when I was, you know, building ore processing for the first time, you know, GregTech ore processing for the first time. You know, starting, you know, LUV stuff or ULV stuff, you know. And now here we are, not too far away from actually completing all the mods 9 and fully completing all the mods 9 by going through the Greg Star. We're still not we're not doing the micro universe thing. This just doesn't work. I don't really want to set this up because micro universe. The multi-block requires 16 ATM star block 81s. So that's another like 900 or so stars. And the only way you do that is if you like set it up like bees or something, because there's no way I'm not willing, neither I or Cosmic is willing to sit here and do any of the other grind enough materials for that. 10 has been more than enough, and this has been a lot of fun, but like this would be cool to build in terms of like size, but I don't want to, you know, build it. You know what I mean? We're done after we get our Greg Star. So there's not really anything we can, you know, do with that. And I mean, let's see. Micro Universe, you can make power with it. 524,000 EU a tick. That's kind of lame, I think. Right? 524,000? That's... I mean, it goes for a long time. Obviously, it makes several trillion. What? Million? Billion? Yeah, like anywhere from 2.4 to 9.6 trillion. EU. But at 524,000 EU a tick is kind of like, that's like what, like 2 million RF per tick, which, yeah, a less than efficient reactor. Anyway, and you can get like ores with it and stuff, which is also just not a problem for us. I guess you get creative energy from it, and you get like the max energy hatch, but like, we don't need any of this stuff. That's like extra stuff for people who really want to go the whole distance. Mostly because I kind of want to try a new pack soon. As much as I've been enjoying my time here in ATM 9, I am getting a little bit sick of the terrible performance. It happened again. I don't know. Nothing changed besides, I guess, us getting on and stuff. But it is what it is. And I'd like to play a new pack at some point in like the distant future. So I'll be happy to be done, but I'm happy to keep playing. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see if I have anything else to talk about before I guess I can go mention the on-demand pulverizers. This on-demand area has kind of languished. We haven't really done anything over here other than I threw some upgrades here. I made some shellite stuff. I have to go get some. I can't make any more of these things because you need where is it? You can make, I think you can craft the dust or something here. Anyway, you can craft the dust here. We don't have any more shulker shells, so we're running low on those. I have to get we can make him through alchemistry, and I haven't touched alchemistry in this run because I did. I know it says I just completed antimatter chemistry, but I've spent probably around just under twice the amount of time in ATM9 than I spent in all of antimatter chemistry, and I imagine we'll get to the full like 2 times. Because it was like 282 hours, 288 hours, or something like that, to get the Infinity Armor and all the mods, or and sorry, antimatter chemistry. Um, so I imagine we'll get to like 600 pretty easy on ATM9. Between myself, Cosmic, and Person, another one of my friends who played, I wouldn't be surprised if we have close to like 1,000 hours or 1,200 hours. I don't know how many hours Cosmic has. There's no leaderboard on this server. I don't know how to turn that on. I tried. I'll always ask. I'll ask eventually, but we have a lot of time on this world. It's been a long time, a long time. I started this like what, like midsummer, and now I have like 5 weeks before I graduate from college, guys. I have to find a job. So that's gonna be something I have to do. Uh, there's so many things I have to do. I have to do a bunch of homework today too. So after I do that, I'm gonna have to go do that. The server is gonna restart fairly soon, so I'll probably go ahead and be done in a minute or two. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. So we'll go ahead and yeah, I guess that's it. I've kind of rambled for long enough too. We got a lot done this week. It was a great time. I'm happy to get back into it. I got burned out on Helldivers 2. The recent major order. If you guys play Helldivers 2, you guys, I mean the getting the DSS was like a 2 month affair, and then I was burned out by like the week 7 anyway, and then it comes in and it's fucking garbage. So I'm like, I don't care anymore. Blow it up, don't blow it up. I can't be bothered to care about major orders anymore. Um, anyway, I've actually have more time in Minecraft than I do in Helldivers. And I have a lot of time in Helldivers. I have like 500 hours, 450, something like that. I hit like level 150 in it earlier this week. Uh, anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. So I hope you guys have had a good week. My week was pretty good. And I hope you guys have a good upcoming week. And I'll see you all again next week.